Hello guys and welcome in a new video. This is basically a video about my story, okay? How basically I built muscle. So, this is basically a recent picture of me. You can see that I was having a pump and my arm is pretty big, I would say. And this is not where I started. You will see where I started. So, you will see the muscle I built over these years. So, if you want to build muscle, generally speaking, you have to consider three factors. First, your starting point. Some people have genetically more muscle mass, and other people are just skinnier. And some people can build more muscle than other people. So, second is basically genetics. Some people will have the genetics for having lots of power, other for basically being more aesthetic, other people for running. So, it depends. And third is the most important, consistency. If I weren't constant during these years, I would not be where I am right now. Okay. So be consistent, guys. This is a picture of me. This was 2020. I was pretty skinny, guys. Like I was super skinny. And this was also a very sad period for me because I was just going through a breakup, okay? And I was not eating and had no muscle. But how did I go from the first picture to the second? It all started from a breakup with my girlfriend. This was the first serious girlfriend that I had. And guys, the pain was immense. I could not eat. I felt like shit. I felt very bad most of the days following the breakup. And I decided that something had to change. Okay. I was having like a burning flame inside of me and I felt really powerful. Okay. I basically felt that nothing could stop me. And there was a particular phrase that this girl told me. She was like making fun of me because I was like having my broken foot or leg, I don't remember. And she said, you will not run, you will not do this. She was making fun of me. And this phrase got stuck in my head. I said, there won't be any girl that will tell me this again. Okay. So basically, she was taking me for granted and she was thinking that I could not have another girl. Okay. But this is what actually put me through hard moments, through acquiring knowledge, through working on my mind a lot, and putting myself through pain. Okay. So let's start from nutrition. Okay. So I was learning a lot about nutrition. I remember in 2020, I started learning a really ton of stuff about nutrition. And I'm here to tell you what works. Okay. You need to consume enough protein to build muscle. I was not consuming 1 gram per pound of body weight. I was probably consuming more. I think I was consuming like 2,200 grams of protein like in a day or even more some days. So it was really a lot of protein and I was really light. I was around like 65 kilograms, something like this. The amount of carbs varied depending on my activity. Okay, so on some days I was more active, on other days I was less active. Okay, the fats were pretty high and they were stable. So what I was changing are were basically the carbs. Okay, now what I like to do now is actually to cycle my carbs and to basically maybe on a day I want to consume a lot of carbs and then I basically train fasted. Okay, this is what I like because I also like to fast a lot. So I basically have a lot of carbs on one day and then I fast like for the following day for a lot of hours and I do like 20 hours of fasting, for example, and I train. Okay. This is what I like to do. But generally speaking, cycling your carbs is actually a very good idea for also maintaining a very good insulin sensitivity. So, what was the biggest difference? It was when I was on an animal based diet. And guys, look at my physique. I started lifting weights in summer 2021. This was 1 year later, guys. And yes, I actually was doing calisthenics for almost 2 years, but still 1 year of lifting weights and my physique was this. Okay. And this was due to good training and also very good nutrition. Okay. And I remember that when I was doing my animal based diet, I was consuming mainly animal foods, eggs, and fruit, honey, and also cocoa. Okay, I was also consuming cocoa with milk. This is what I still like a lot, cocoa and milk. And my body fat was really, really low. It was around 8 to 9%, as you can see in the picture. And my testosterone was probably through the roof because I was feeling amazing. Also, I remember that in October 2022, I was eating very high calories, like around 3,000 calories, and was still maintaining a 10 or under 10% body fat. Okay. Of course, I was also active, but still, I was consuming a lot of calories for my weight at the moment. Here, I think I was around 72, 73 kilograms. I'm not sure, but this is what I think. And these are more pictures of summer 22. And you can see that I am really, really shredded, particularly in the second picture at the right. Look at the back, guys. I was really, really shredded. Now I have more muscle, but still, this physique is very, very shredded. Now, let's talk about the workout that I was following. So I started with calisthenics, as I told you. I could not even do pull ups. I was really weak, guys, but I was so motivated. And then, after some months, I started doing more and more pull ups, these push ups. I was training like very constantly. I had it on my mind always. So I reached, after a while, 15 to 20 pull ups, and I was really, really happy. I also started doing ring workouts, and also ring guys improved my strength a lot. And as I told you, I started also doing weights in summer 2021, and I felt amazing because it was basically the first time that I was in a gym, and it was then when I really noticed the real results. Okay, my best friend also, he saw me after the vacation, and in September he told me, "Wow, your shoulders are huge." I still remember, and I didn't really realize it, but then slowly I realized that I was actually getting really bigger. Okay, and I took the gym seriously, like it was my place. Okay, and I started becoming obsessing with learning about nutrition. Started doing fasting. I was basically obsessed with learning more about the effect that nutrition had on the body. My workouts were actually very long and also intense. I was doing high volume, high intensity. I was training like crazy, almost always to failure. And I saw really, really amazing results. My split was 6 days a week. And I was hitting each muscle group twice a week. Okay. I was doing mainly hypertrophy training. And the progress went on until 2023 because I started doing BJJ, and unfortunately, BJJ slowed down my gym progress. Okay, because I was doing lots of cardio, I was also getting injured from time to time, so I could not push in the gym the same way I did before. But still, I pushed a lot. But I started adopting a new type of training. I was doing in 2023 mainly lower reps to failure. And then I started in 2024 and 2025 high time under tension, slow eccentric, and lower reps. And this is what basically made me freaking strong. Okay. Now that I do BJJ and I combine this style of training where I don't do like crazy workouts, but I do less exercises with still a good volume, but I train to failure and I focus on technique. And guys, my muscles are more dense than ever. Okay. So this is what works for me now. And as I told you before, right now I'm lifting 3 to 5 times a week. I'm focusing also on BJ because I compete. And the problem is that sometimes I have to be in a deficit because I have to cut, for example, some weight for BJ, but this is not the best thing to do, of course. What I want to do also is I try to optimize my sleep so I recover. And this is basically the workout plan that I follow. So isolation movements, compound movements, and I train to technical failure and focus on the technique. And I do low to medium reps, so around 6 to 8. Even in biceps, guys, I rarely go over 8 reps. Okay, and you can see like my muscle here is pretty dense, particularly compared to the other pictures. And if I go back to the first pictures as well, you can see that my muscle is much more dense. Okay, of course the lighting was very good, but still you can see a difference in size. Okay, it's just more fuller and denser. Okay, so this is basically my story summarized, how I got into fitness, how I got also into boosting testosterone. I will also do another video about how I started doing testosterone test and how I actually developed an obsession about learning more and more about testosterone. Okay, but this is how basically I started lifting weights and I started improving my body. If you have questions, let me know in the comments. And also, I launched a school community. If you want to join, the link is in the description. Thanks for watching.